Those are the new ministers of the state government in Tamil Nadu. In fact, all of them took the oath of office at the Raj Bhavan in Chennai earlier in the day. And there you can see it was a virtual tearjerker. Starting with Chief Minister O. Selvam, all the ministers, one by one, were weeping and sobbing as they took the oath of office, converting the entire swearing-in ceremony into a sob opera. Hello and welcome to Up South. That really remains the big story here in Tamil Nadu and all of India. The verdict in the Jayalalithaa case, which came on Saturday, resulting in a virtual political tsunami. Stepping down as the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, and O. Selvam, her loyalist and senior AIADMK leader, and who was also the Finance Minister of the state, being sworn in today at around 2 o'clock this afternoon as the new Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. Virtually the entire cabinet, which served under Jayalalithaa, has also been sworn in along with Selvam. My colleague Shisha Reddy was at that swearing-in ceremony and filed this report from Raj Bhavan.
It was an emotional swearing-in ceremony for the AIADMK ministers at a time when the party supremo Jayalalithaa is convicted of corruption and is behind bars. The ADMK camp, which is usually known for its loyalism towards Amma, this was something the party didn't expect. While most of the ministers broke down, a few literally wept when they were taking oath as the minister in the cabinet. The newly elected Chief Minister O. Selvam was the first to break down when he was taking the oath, followed by other ministers who literally wept when they were taking oath. And the ministers will now be going to Bangalore to meet the former Chief Minister of the state, Jayalalithaa. With camera person Daniel, Srisha Reddy in Chennai for Headlines Today.
With me is Shisha Reddy, who has been tracking every move in this big political story here in Chennai. Shisha, the big question now is that now that Jayalalithaa is not going to be Chief Minister, of course we do not know what will be the verdict in the vacation bench of the Karnataka High Court. But do you see this government taking hard political decisions or even hard administrative decisions, or will everything have to be ratified by Jayalalithaa?
It has to be Jayalalithaa. If Jayalalithaa is saying something, even they can take very hard decisions. But unlike last time in 2001, we'll have to wait and see how this is going to function. Because in 2001, Jayalalithaa was the person behind whatever Selvam did. So even this time also we can expect a similar thing. But again, Selvam last time also, when he was the Chief Minister, whatever questions the media asked him, he said, I will have to talk to Amma and then get back to you. So this time also we can expect a similar thing. But again, last time, if you take this into context, he did not even clear crucial files that Jayalalithaa had left behind in 2001 before she had stepped down. So this time also we might see a similar thing. But again, after he starts putting his foot forward.
Right. Okay. So what kind of an impact that has on brand Tamil Nadu? That will be a crucial question. But what kind of a person is Selvam really? Of course, he started as a tea seller, much like Prime Minister Narendra Modi, but he has really risen dramatically in AIADMK, and much of that has been because of the L factor, the loyalty factor, complete loyalty to the AIADMK supremo Jayalalithaa. This is what is the story of the new Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, O. Selvam.
Who will be the next Chief Minister? That was the big question doing the round when AIADMK chief Jayalalithaa was jailed for 4 years in an 18-year-old corruption case by a Bangalore court. The AIADMK had to select its new leader in the Tamil Nadu Assembly. Jaya's loyalist and senior AIADMK leader, O. Selvam, was the chosen one. Hailing from Peryakulam, near Theni in South Tamil Nadu, and an owner of a tea shop, Selvam, also called OPS, was unanimously elected as the next Chief Minister. OPS, who held the finance and public works portfolio in the Tamil Nadu government, was sworn in for the second time in a low-key affair in Chennai.
You have what you have is effectively a caretaker chief minister who will be ruling will be governing in the name of Jayalalithaa.
O. Selvam is not a very popular leader, you must agree. But whether she is behind the bars or out on bail or in power, she is going to be very popular. I think she reached a popularity of her mentor, perhaps.
In September 2001, Selvam was made Chief Minister for a brief period as Jayalalithaa had to step down after the Supreme Court pronounced her guilty of criminal offence. In political circles, Selvam is also known as the reluctant Chief Minister. During his earlier stint in 2001, He chose not to sit in Jaya's chair as Chief Minister's office and did not clear crucial files. In 2011, he was appointed as Finance Minister when Jaya stormed back to power. He was the number 2 and served as the point person for ministers and senior leaders of the party. With T.S. Sudhir and Srisha Reddy in Chennai, Bureau Report, Headlines Today.
Joining me now from Bangalore is my colleague Ratnika Sharma. Ratnika, the new Chief Minister of Selvam has left for Bangalore to meet the former Chief Minister and his party boss. What really is his schedule like going to be? Because would he go straight to the Bangalore Central Prison from the airport?
Yes, Sudhir, what we've been told is that he will be taking the 6:30 flight. In fact, he would have taken the 6:30 flight and will be reaching Bangalore International Airport by about 7:10, and from there he will directly go to the central jail, which will take him about an hour. So probably we're hoping that he'd reach the central jail by about 8 o'clock, and after that, which he'll be meeting Jayalalithaa, and he'll be accompanied by his ministers. Of course, he's hopeful that he'll probably get permission to meet her because the visiting hours are only till 5 p.m. So yesterday also he had sought special permission to meet Jayalalithaa, and today also he's hopeful that he'll get that special permission to meet Jayalalithaa after he's being sworn in as the Chief Minister. Back to you, Sudhir.
Right, Ratnika, thanks a lot for joining us there with all those details. The big day for Jayalalithaa will be in the Karnataka High Court, where the petitions were moved today, and the hearing will start before the vacation bench of that High Court tomorrow, and that will be crucial, with many eminent lawyers actually arguing for the former Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu.
After 2 nights behind bars, jailed Jayalalithaa began her big fight back. A 3-pronged assault in court, in government and on the streets.
15 minutes post-noon, Jaya's lawyers moved court with 2 main applications for immediate relief. The first one was to get a suspension of the sentence, which would actually mean, if approved, she gets bail, but her electoral exile will still stay. If rejected, it would mean no bail. But the bigger battle for Jaya would be to get a stay on conviction, which means her disqualification will no longer remain. Now, if rejected, she would then have the option to move Supreme Court.
She had allegedly committed the crime long ago, 18 years ago. Therefore, bail should not be difficult from Karnataka High Court. But the difficult task for her is to persuade the court to suspend her sentence and conviction, thereby restoring her political status. Therefore, Supreme Court has very categorically stated that any politician who is holding the office, maybe Chief Minister or any Union Minister or State Minister, it doesn't matter, then you have to immediately vacate your seat. You get disqualified unless and until, with this exception, that if your sentence exceeding 2 years has been suspended by the High Court.
Within less than an hour of the court's move, Jaya has sealed the grip on the government by installing a loyalist in CM's chair. O. Selvam stepped in for the second time for the embattled CM. This time, the swearing-in script played out with emotional scenes.
Difficult for her to remote control the government sitting in Bangalore Central Prison, assuming that she does not secure bail. But what has happened over the last couple of days, ever since the special court in Bangalore ordered her arrest, is that a team of about 4 odd people, former bureaucrats, have been actually put in place who will actually function out of her residence in Poise Garden. Now, this is going to be the core team which will actually take all the decisions. They are known as the eyes and ears of Jayalalithaa, and they will advise Selvam on what to do on a day-to-day basis, because obviously it's not going to be possible for Selvam to actually go to Bangalore Central Jail to seek advice on every small and important matter.
The protests on the streets were only a sequel of this AIADMK tearjerker. Amma's supporters kept whipping up the protest frenzy on the streets. The hysterical protest has Delhi worried. The Home Minister made the Home Secretary dial the State DGP and Chief Secretary. even as top sources in the ministry declared that they were keeping a close watch on the law and order situation. But even as the other battles play out, Jaya's biggest concern will be to get quick bail before the end of the Dashera break. With T.S. Sudhir in Chennai and Pratibha Raman in Bangalore, Samkhya Demarku for Headlines Today.
I want to go straight across to Headlines Today. It's Pratibha Raman joining us live from Bangalore. She's been tracking every single development on this story. Pratibha, O. Paneerselvam is the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister. Jayalalithaa, the undisputed boss, continues to remain in prison. We saw a lot of theatrics today. Not that anybody is unused to those theatrics that we see in Tamil Nadu politics. The crucial focus is now going to be on bail for Jayalalithaa. But how is it going to work? All eyes will be on Paneerselvam. And one of the questions that will be asked is he going to be a puppet chief minister?
Well, that is definitely a crucial question, Shiv. But right now, in terms of the bail application, to answer that first, she has moved the petition in the High Court today, wherein there are two prayers. One is to seek a suspension of the sentence, which means it works like a bail. Her imprisonment as well as the fine, there would be a stay on that temporarily. It works like an interim bail. If rejected, then that means no bail. The second one in the petition is a stay on the conviction, which also directly impacts her political career, because now that she is disqualified, if there is a stay on conviction, then it means the disqualification will also temporarily stay suspended. So this is what Jayalalithaa would be looking at and the lawyers would be looking at, because once she fights this particular battle, it is the biggest battle that she would be winning. But if not, despite her being behind bars, whether she would remote control the party still remains a big question, now that considering O. Paneerselvam as well as the other ministers who are known for the L factor, rightly pointed out by Sudhir, which means the loyalty factor, then Jayalalithaa still remains the leader of the legislative party and hence would remote control the party as well.
Welcome back. You're with Up South and we are in Chennai discussing the fallout of the Jayalalithaa verdict and the political changes taking place here in Tamil Nadu. With me is C. Pandian, who is a member of the AIADMK legal team, a die-hard loyalist. In fact, I just spotted the tattoo of Jayalalithaa on his forearm. You're going to be in the Karnataka High Court tomorrow. Yes. Tell us, what is going to be your legal strategy? We know about the petitions that you have filed. What is going to be a strategy legally?
The charge that was framed against Honorable Chief Minister Puratchi Thalaivi Amma was under two acts. One is disproportionate asset and the other one is IPC. Right. And the sentence and conviction is 4 years simple imprisonment, not rigorous imprisonment, take it on fine. And a sum of rupees 100 crores to be paid, for which we have moved a bail application and an appeal petition, a suspend petition and suspension petition. Apart from that, we have refused to pay the fine amount also, which is on the records of the High Court.
You're entitled to do that. My simple question is, and if you can answer briefly on that, what are the chances of the judge actually listening to all your petitions?
Tomorrow, as far as the bail application is concerned, I reliably understand Mr. Ram Jetmalani, the senior counsel, has already landed up in Bangalore. And our argument, our petition will be the only petition, because since it's all Dasara holidays, there will not be any other bail application, which will come up before Justice Ratnakala.
So you are hoping that she will be released on bail, it could even be tomorrow?
Certainly, take it in writing. Tomorrow morning by 12 o'clock, we may not have work for more than 1 hour. And in 12 o'clock, the petition will be disposed, and sureties will be furnished at 1 o'clock, and 3 o'clock, our madam will catch the flight and she will be back here in Tamil Nadu.
Okay, fine. So that's a very hopeful Sidure Pandian saying that the former Chief Minister Jayalalithaa will be back in Chennai by around 4 o'clock tomorrow evening. But at the same time, there is a Tamil Nadu film industry which has actually called for a one-day fast, a one-day protest in against the decision of the special court in Bangalore. Joining me is now Rohini, who has been tracking all these developments from Chennai. Rohini, what is really the mood on the streets of Chennai? Of course, we have seen the anger among the AIADMK cadre, but what does the common man on the street feel about this?
Well, the common person who is walking on the roads, if you talk to them, they're very clear that these welfare schemes that Amma has introduced has impacted them in their lives, has provided some kind of, in a way, security, in a way, happiness, whatever be the scheme of that matter. Let me also talk to, I have a group of young students who are also politically aware of what is happening. If I can ask you, these welfare schemes, be it a techie in the IT sector, do you think it has impacted them? And at the end of the day, Amma, as in terms of, she will have an impact on the people, especially when it comes to the young voters?
Well, definitely. I think the populist measures that Jayalalithaa has enacted, I think those go in favor of her despite the indictment by the court. Because if you look at it with populism and corruption charges of 18 years ago versus corruption charges against the DMK and much little else to prove, I think people will be swayed by measures that directly impact their lives. And therefore the voters, I think, will come in favor of her even in 2016.
If I can also ask you, this year you said you voted. And the fact that the number of schemes that I was just talking about to him, as a young voter, do you think, looking at 2016, would you still vote for an ADMK? Would you still vote for a DMK? Or would you also look at options like a BJP that has now we're looking at it in the center with Modi wave that is going around? So are you looking at more options, or is it still the kind of Dravidian politics that we see here?
Honestly, till now, I think Dravidian politics has remained a stronghold. So I think AIADMK has definitely won us over with populism. But the problem here is that there needs to be another party that needs to come to the forefront and establish itself. This is a great opportunity, I think. So we're probably going to see only if, time will tell if we're going to actually vote for a party other than AIADMK. But I'm open to more alternatives.
If I can ask you, a Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu behind bars, something that was unheard of initially, they thought that it would never happen to Jayalalithaa. How do you look at it? How do you feel about it? Do you think that it was something that was waiting to happen? At the end of the day, do you feel now that all the other politicians will think 10 times, because corruption is not new to ADMK, is not new to DMK?
Well, obviously they will think 10 times before anything doing corruption related things. So judiciary has won in this case, and it will pave way for more cases, whether it is DMK or whether it is some 2G or whether CWG cases, something related to that.
There you have it, Sudhir. That's the kind of pulse that we're seeing. And at the end of the day, it's also the wave that they all say. And like I was saying, the populist schemes have made their mark.
Well, yes, absolutely, Rohini. In fact, just got 37 out of the 39 seats in the Lok Sabha elections in May 2014. Probably that euphoria hasn't really died out. That's it then on Up South. From Chennai, we will continue to track this big political story in Tamil Nadu very, very closely, because a lot could happen. And as the lawyer for the AIADMK just now told us, she could actually be back tomorrow evening here in Chennai. That's it then on Up South.